Now, I know a lot of people are watching me tonight, and I want to address the elephant in the room. I spent a lot of my day thinking about what had happened today, and I actually took the time out of my day to write my thoughts down on paper. And I want to address this before we even get into the actual review of the show. I know many people are watching me tonight because of events that have happened on social media within the last 24 hours today. A clip of one of my podcasts was circulating around on Twitter by another Twitter account discussing Alexa Bliss's in-ring abilities. Now, the video caught attention of Lexi Kaufman, a.k.a. Alexa Bliss, on Monday Night Raw. She retweeted it, and many other wrestlers also commented on the clip directly to me. The joke I made that was, quite frankly, a sexist comment, as I was critiquing a female performer in the industry, was plagued with sexism. The analogy that I used was wrong. It was sexual, and it only reinforced those beliefs. In all my honesty, it was meant to be a joke, and it did not come off as a joke to everybody that listened to it. My intention is never to offend anyone. I got defensive with my initial reaction on Twitter, which is very normal, but after thinking about it all day and seeing how my choice of words were hurtful, I actually want to apologize to Alexa Bliss this evening. I was wrong, and I will only do my best to do better and bring you guys the quality of content and the analysis you've come to expect on Off the Script. As many of you know, I, at my core, in my heart, I am a lifelong wrestling fan that loves professional wrestling and this business, and I want to see the product be the best it could be. But this is much more than a Twitter spat or a badly clipped piece of my podcast. At the heart of the matter is cyberbullying, especially given the events of this past weekend where the wrestling community lost a professional wrestler far too young. Hana Kimura was only 22 years old when she passed away, and it's been stated that cyberbullying led to this tragic action. Many of my long-term listeners know the personal struggles that I have gone through, and I empathize with Hana, while my heart goes out to all of Hana's family and everyone that worked with her in the squared circle. It is because of Hana's passing that I wanted to address this situation tonight. As a human being, we can always be better, and I am no exception. I strive to always give you, my listeners, an honest, analytical, and entertaining opinion, and I will keep on doing that every single day, every single week for you guys. My work discusses fictional characters on scripted TV shows. A long time ago, I made a point to separate these on-screen characters that over the years we spent so many hours watching, investing our time in, and welcoming them into our homes. The real-life people behind these characters. My opinions are never meant to discuss real-life personas. However, with the events over the Memorial Day weekend behind us, I also want to strive to do this in a way that it reflects who I am. I will continue to entertain every day with these thoughts always in mind. I thank everyone for listening to me. It is all of you who keep me going through the good and the bad times, and it gives me great joy when I hear from others on how my podcast has helped them through their own difficult struggles. I hope to continue to positively impact others and look forward to continuing to better myself each and every day for all of you, and for most of all, myself. I sincerely apologize to all of the women's locker room in WWE, Paige, Sonya Deville, Charlotte, and Alexa Bliss, and everybody that this has affected as of today and moving forward. This is your Monday Night Raw review right here on Off the Script. I will go over everything that happened on the show today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Let's hit the introduction, and I'll be right back with Off the Script.
Is this what you want? This fucking foliage? Is this what you want? Mr. Dips? Is this what you want? Me standing in front of EC3 buying designer coats? Is this what you want? Me sitting in some hipster hotel in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, fluffing pillows? Is this what you want? I don't believe this. This graffiti art, hipster hotels, avocado toast. All I want is a fucking Guinness. An ice cold Guinness. What the hell does that mean? Oh, this is what you wanted. This is your Monday Night Raw review right here on Off the Script.
What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. It is your Monday Night Raw review for May 25th, 2020. From me to you, I hope you guys had a great Memorial Day. I had some cold beverages. I walked the beach. All was good, man. So we got Monday Night Raw tonight. The build to Backlash. And to be brutally honest with you, like I always am, I did not take Monday Night Raw tonight to be as offensive as it was in previous weeks. For some reason, WWE wanted to sprinkle a little dose of logic on the show tonight. And it ended up being a good show. It ended up being a good show. We got a decent triple threat match, even though I don't think the participants in the match should have been the participants in the match. It ended up being a good triple threat match with the right outcome. Austin Theory gets a big win on Monday Night Raw. In his new role with Seth Rollins, Angel Garza gets a big win over Kevin Owens on Monday Night Raw. Bobby Lashley, even though I don't agree with him being in the title picture, how you can take him to be seriously or a serious threat in the title picture for the WWE Championship after all of these years of neglect on Monday Night Raw. Even he had a great spot with Drew McIntyre tonight, and the intensity was that of a real WWE Championship title program. Monday Night Raw did pretty good tonight. I didn't even mind the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders playing golf tonight. Now, I was hoping that they played mini golf, and that's exactly what they did after real golf. But I was hoping that they would play mini golf because I just started watching and I had no idea this show existed. Holy moly. On ABC, Stephen Curry's Holy Moly. It's like a mini golf competition, this really extreme mini golf. I'm watching season 2, episode 1 last night. I'm having a blast. I'm having a fucking blast watching this thing. It was so much fun. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'd love to be on this show. So them playing golf tonight, I didn't like the basketball. I don't like this entire program and how they're building up to the tag team championship match that they're going to have probably at Backlash. But tonight I really didn't mind it. I guess I'm a golf connoisseur at heart, I guess. I don't know. But Monday Night Raw was not as offensive as it has been in previous weeks, and we're going to dissect the show, as always, the way we do right here on Off the Script. Make sure you guys follow me on social media. Thank you to all the new follows today at JD from NY206. That is on Twitter, Instagram, the same at JD from NY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. If you guys missed any of my previous content, Off the Script, AEW, Double or Nothing review with that great Stadium Stampede match. Everything you need coming out of the weekend is linked down below in the description of this very video. Make sure you guys go and support the Patreon page as well, patreon.com/JD from NY206. And as always, guys, if you enjoy the analytical approach of what I do here on the podcast and you enjoy the takes that I present to you guys, as always, hit that thumbs up. It greatly helps out the channel, and it gets the channel and the video into the recommended section right here on YouTube. So I would really appreciate that. And thank you guys for joining me on the show tonight. So we started Monday Night Raw off with the Kevin Owens show. It's good to have Kevin Owens back on Monday Night Raw. Now, hopefully they put him into a program that actually means something. He should have been, and I said this weeks ago, and I know why he wasn't on the show, but it would have made sense if they continued it in a normal fashion coming out of WrestleMania. If there was one guy to feud with Drew McIntyre, if there was one guy to get a WWE Championship match coming out of WrestleMania, it was Kevin Owens. Seeing that we got Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre, their match was fantastic at Money in the Bank. But knowing that Owens beat Rollins, always in the back of my mind, it's like, man, Rollins in that match really didn't make any sense when we all know he lost in a match against Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. So it was something that really didn't make much sense to me. I love what those two guys did at Money in the Bank. Hopefully Kevin Owens can get right back on that track, and maybe we can see him as a top contender on Monday Night Raw. But he was in the open of the show, the Kevin Owens show, and believe it or not, believe it or not, we actually had fans, NXT developmental talent, as fans in the arena. Now, WWE had, I guess, gone with a different approach here for this Performance Center phase that they're in. WWE blocked off all of the barricades with plexiglass. It was almost as if you were watching a hockey game and someone was going to be checked into the boards. WWE had plexiglass all around the boards. They had everybody from Shotzi Blackheart. I seen some of the guys there from Ever Rise. I seen my boy Eric Boogs. He was in there. Isaiah Swerve Scott was there. We seen some of the Four Horsewomen that were there. I think Jessamine Duke was there as well. A bunch of other no-names right now in the Performance Center, really giving the show a different feel inside the Performance Center from all of these weeks that we had to sit and be tortured with WWE trying to act like they're doing the empty arena shows better than anybody, and we all know that they were miserable because there was no life to these shows. Everybody thought that AEW was doing a much better job with the empty arena shows because they had all of their indie talent, all of their lower end guys, men and women, standing on the sidelines, you know? And even with the big shows at Daly's Place, they had the heels on one side, the baby faces on the other. It was just a great aesthetic. It brought great life to these otherwise dismal shows. I got to give WWE some credit for finally doing it. I mean, 2.5 months too late, but I got to give them credit, even though it did come 2.5 months too late. What I don't like, two things I didn't like. Number one, I don't know how WWE could ask them, all those people there, to stand for 3 hours. It was probably more than 3 hours. This show was actually a double taping. They taped this week and next week. So these people, these poor people, had to sit down for more than 3 hours without chairs. Now, I don't know why that's the case. I don't know if you guys were questioning why didn't they offer this talent chairs to sit down for an extended taping at the Performance Center. The only thing I can think about is the main roster taking the NXT talent and putting them in this position and having them stand because of, I would say, having them pay their dues. That's the only thing I could possibly think of. Other than that, it really didn't make any sense. And I know if I'm standing there, I'm like, holy shit, when is this show going to be over? I got to sit here for 5.5 hours, 5 hours to watch a dual taping of Monday Night Raw? My God, man, that's punishment in some countries, seeing how this show has been performing as of late. But I got to give them credit for actually going the distance here and finally doing the Performance Center talent, the NXT talent, developmental talent there at the tapings. The thing I didn't like about this is it really felt forced. Now, I don't want to shit on WWE because they actually made a good move. They did make a good move, but there's always got to be some criticism when they do something because it feels like they do these things that we know are the right decisions, but it feels like the company doesn't want to do these decisions. They don't want to make these moves. The move to get the talent there and finally bring some life to these shows, it felt half-assed. It felt like WWE didn't want to do it, that they were doing it because, you know, they were tired of fans complaining. They were tired of looking at AEW have a better show than them, right? And that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all. They did it. Now you can do it. Try and do it better. But it felt almost forced watching everybody do what they did. It almost came off in a way where they were supposed to boo, or they were supposed to cheer, or they were supposed to make some noise. It almost acted like they were given cue cards, and they were given scripts on when to cheer, when to boo, when to say this, when to woo, when Charlotte Flair comes out, when to do this, when to do that, where to stand, who's over here, who's over there. You know, it felt forced almost. And that's why WWE, I always say, sucks the fucking fun out of everything. We know they're doing the right decision, but they don't fully embrace the right decision. It's almost as if they didn't really give a shit about them being there. Everything is so micromanaged. How could you micromanage something like that? The most simplest of things. This is why I always say the charm of AEW and the charm of what they do on Dynamite is so much better than what WWE does. WWE's the big corporate conglomerate, right? They are the top of the game. Nobody could do wrong in WWE. Meanwhile, they got little old AEW doing it better than they could ever do it. And they want to kind of rewrite the entire system. Oh, you're going to do it this way. This is the way it needs to be. This is why AEW does it so much better. They don't really put their talent on leashes. They let them go. Cheer. Have a blast. I mean, for fucking Christ's sakes, they got MJF and Shawn Spears betting on the actual matches. This is what Pete Rose has been banned from the Baseball Hall of Fame for. Who gives a shit? This is fun. It's great. It's entertaining. It makes for great social media content. It makes for a personality on these shows. But WWE doesn't like that. It felt like there were people there, but it felt like they were fucking robots. You ever play WWE 2K? It looked like something out of a fucking WWE 2K game where everybody's just doing the same thing over and over again, cheering, right? It looked ridiculous. It sounded ridiculous. Though it did add a better element than usual to the show. So I gotta give them some credit. So when everybody asks me, JD, what'd you think about WWE finally going to the steps of adding fans, quote unquote, in the arena? Yeah, they could have did it better. As always, everything with WWE comes with the phrase of they could have did it better. And they could have done it better. That's my opinion, of course. You might have liked it, but that's my take on what WWE did tonight. Now, Kevin Owens, who was in the ring for the Kevin Owens show, he had the NXT stars out there around ringside speaking. Owens spoke. He said they were the future of WWE. Yes, some of them. Some of them, they should be, but more than likely, 5% maybe out of the 100% of people in that arena tonight as plants for the WWE Performance Center shows. For fans, only 5% of these people are actually going to go and make a WWE superstar or become a WWE superstar. Most of these will get buried. Most of these will be, whisked away into irrelevancy. Some of them might get released for not being used. Nobody knows. But yes, Kevin Owens, thank you for being hopeful about the NXT class. Maybe one day doing something great on Monday Night Raw. I don't really hold my breath when it comes to NXT talent being demoted to the main roster. Now, he said that they were the future of the show. Owens said that they were in for a treat because later in the show he would take on Angel Garza. Owens then shifted to the women's number one contender match. From there, Asuka came down. She said she did it. She was chanting for Becky Lynch. Once Asuka got in the ring, Becky Lynch chant, Owens spoke, and she, shouted out Becky Lynch and called her the mom, and then he plugged WWEshop.com and the new mom t-shirt for Becky Lynch. Asuka spoke Japanese. I didn't know what she was saying. But then Kevin Owens said he wanted to get a reaction from Asuka as to what happened last week between Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Nia Jax. So then he queued up a highlight package on the big screen, and we seen what had happened with those events. After the highlight package, Asuka had this angry look on her face that she wanted to beat the shit out of Nia Jax, and rightfully so. I hope she does so. She spoke Japanese, and then out came Charlotte Flair. The Monday Night Raw superstar who's the NXT champion. The NXT Women's Champion, by the way, who is, appearing regularly on Friday nights, as if anybody asks for that. I mean, she goes through the reboot on Monday, she gets the firmware update on Friday, and then she puts it to the test on Wednesday. I don't know. I had that backwards. She does the reboot on Monday, she does the firmware update on Wednesday, and then she gets the reboot. Or I guess she tests it out on Friday. Whatever. You guys know what I mean. Nobody asked for Charlotte Flair. But Charlotte is out there, and she says about the women's championship that women's championship around Asuka's waist should be hers. I mean, I guess why don't we just give all the championships to Charlotte Flair? Why don't we just create a queen of the ring? Why don't we just create a new robe and a new crown for Charlotte Flair? Why don't we give Charlotte Flair the 2021 Royal Rumble already? Why don't we give Charlotte Flair the SmackDown Women's Championship? Fuck a Sasha and Bayley feud. Why don't we just have Asuka released so she can go back to Japan and give Charlotte Flair the Raw Women's Championship? I don't understand. We give Charlotte Flair the men and women's Money in the Bank for all we care too, right? Just give her everything. Just give her everything. Give her first pickings and Titus Catering. Give her everything, man. That's the most precious thing in all of WWE, first in line in catering. Come on, bro. Heard it's good. Heard it's been good even during the quarantine. Anyway, so she spoke to Asuka, and she told Kevin Owens to hold the ropes open for her. From there, she got into the ring, and Kevin Owens said she lost a feather from her boa. Charlotte then spoke and said that she is the NXT champion who should be the Raw Women's champion. Just hand it to her, she says. Just hand it to her. Charlotte said that Asuka has never been, Charlotte has beaten Asuka all these different times they've been in the ring. Charlotte said that Asuka has never beaten her and that she needed to manage her expectations. At this point, Natalya walked out. As she did, Kevin Owens removed parts of the set because Natty went into a ballistic rage last week and destroyed the Kevin Owens show set. Natty got in the ring, apologized for the tantrum she threw last week. Natty said that she was so frustrated. She continued to talk, and then Charlotte interrupted and cut her off and said that Natty was sucking up to Kevin Owens, and that wouldn't help her win this match. Charlotte called Natty irrelevant, which then brought out Nia Jax. Typical WWE garbage. They all wait for their cues. Out comes Asuka. She says something in Japanese. Out comes Charlotte. She does her robot thing. Out comes Nia Jax. She does her thing. It's like, it's so terrible, right? And they weren't even in a match. This didn't even lead to a match to open the show. Charlotte's coming out there with the robe. She's all pretty and whatnot. Why don't you just come out there regular and speak your piece and then show up for the match later on? I hate these types of segments. They just feel and look and sound so overproduced. I don't get it, man. I never, even in NXT when they do it, I don't like it. I just don't like it. So Charlotte called Natty irrelevant, which brought Nia Jax out. Jax spoke at the top of the ramp, and the audience there, the little audience there, was booing her. She told them all to stop and said that she would be the next Raw Women's Champion. Jax then walked to the ring. Owens left the ring. He didn't want no part of this. Jax says that she would bulldoze over Asuka at Backlash. In response, Asuka hit a spinning back fist on Jax. And then all of these women brawled. Owens looked on from the outside. Eventually, the ring cleared and Asuka stood tall in the middle of the ring. Then her music cued. That was it. I didn't really care for this. I didn't really give a shit about the fucking match going in. How am I going to care about a match knowing that the whole match is booked on illogical garbage? So you already lost me before we even got to this. I was pissed about this match going into SmackDown on Friday. I don't get it. How does this match make any sense to anybody? Nia Jax. Okay, Nia Jax is there. Fine. Nia Jax is there solely out of the fact that she's going to be the number one contender anyway for the Raw Women's Championship. Natty? How does Natty belong there? How does Natty belong in this match? She hasn't won a match since WrestleMania. So now we're giving losers, by logic, the chance to compete for championships. Charlotte, don't even get me started. Charlotte should have been moved exclusively to NXT from Monday Night Raw as soon as she pinned Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship. She's no longer a Raw star. She's not a SmackDown star. Nobody gives a fuck about seeing Charlotte Flair with the brand-to-brand invitational or the wild card rule. Nobody cares. In fact, she's actually doing more harm than good, as we discussed. She's not bringing prestige to the title. She's not bringing prestige to any division she's in. In fact, WWE is quickly and actively ruining all of women's wrestling with Charlotte the way she's booked. Because you're not building up any new stars. Liv Morgan, she got a couple of wins. What did they do? They fed her to Charlotte. Ruby Riot's lost 9 matches in a row on Monday Night Raw. Please tell me why Ruby Riott deserves to lose 9 matches in a row. I don't get it. And Liv Morgan beat Ruby Riott 2 times in 2 weeks, only to be fed to Charlotte Flair. Where's Bianca Belair? Why is Bianca Belair on Main Event and Superstars? Why? Why did you even bother calling her up to the main roster if you weren't even going to use her immediately? It's like buying a new car and leaving it in the fucking garage for 4 months. You fucking kidding me? Yet nobody will complain about this. Oh, the women's division is great. Oh, Charlotte is great. Oh, Natty deserves an opportunity. I'd rather watch paint dry than fucking watch Natalya in the ring. You kidding me? Natalya has been there for how long? 15 years. And she's still getting opportunities at the Raw Women's Championship. Not saying she's not a great wrestler. She's great. Probably one of the best women's wrestlers in the entire WWE. But to have her in this match? How? She lost. Only in WWE do losers get rewarded with championships. WWE logic, I guess, folks. And that's Charlotte Flair. exploitation. Man, you talk about overexposed. You talk about looking up the definition of overexposed in WWE, man. Charlotte is jumping off the fucking page. It's not even a picture of Charlotte Flair. It's like a 3D holographic image of Charlotte Flair. It's almost as if Charlotte Flair is fucking in the room with you at that point. That's how overexposed she is. But nobody will find an issue with this. Oh, more Charlotte, they say. You're gonna have the goons on social media. Yeah, more Charlotte on Monday Night Raw. Why don't we create another show on Tuesday and put Charlotte on that show, is what they're saying. Are you serious? Unbelievable, man. This was nothing. Paint-by-numbers garbage to open Monday Night Raw. This overproduced segment garbage to open the show. Oh, out comes one. The champion comes out. Then the other three come out. And they're all looking like they're all prettied up. And, you know, they got their boas on and their outfits on. But nobody's going to wrestle yet. Theme music hits. They're all standing in a way where they got to look at the camera and not look at each other. Overproduced, micromanaged garbage, folks. I don't like this shit. Apollo Crews was interviewed backstage. He was asked if he was mentally ready. In a response, Cruz said that tonight was the greatest night of his career. He said he would defeat Andrade and become the new United States champion. Cruz then confidently walked off. I'm a fan of Apollo Crews. I am not a fan of the way WWE has misutilized him for close to 5 years. And I really don't trust WWE to do the right thing. That's why I was so sour on Apollo Crews. Will they change my mind? I don't know. Given them, WWE will ruin everything regarding Apollo Crews. So we got Andrade with Zelina Vega versus Apollo Crews for the United States Championship. This was very good. Very, very good. We got a new United States champion. This one went close to 15 minutes or so, I'd say. Apollo Crews won, which literally came out of left field, defeated Andrade, and won the United States Championship. Vega was on the outside. She got taken out. Andrade got hit. He stumbled into Vega, who fell off the apron. We go to commercial break. Back from break, the action was still continuing. Vega was being attended to by the officials. Andrade fired up and tried to beat up Cruz with anything and everything. He tossed him into the guardrail, picked up his title belt before rolling him back into the ring. He went for a cover, only got a 2 count. Out of the pin, Andrade locked in an armbar submission. Eventually, Cruz escaped, got some offense in. A big kick to Andrade, who was perched on the top rope. Cruz followed Andrade up and tried for a suplex, but Andrade countered with his double foot stomp. Right after that, Andrade tried for the cover, only to get a 2 count. Out of the pin, Andrade gestured to the NXT faithful that were in attendance that he was the United States champion. From there, Angel Garza was being interviewed backstage during this match. He was watching this match, and then Kayla Braxton, I believe, came up to him and wanted an interview and his thoughts on this match. So we got some picture-in-picture shit. Garza talked about how good of a match he was watching. He talked about how a good match was like making love, is what he actually said. He outlined that detail and then turned back to the screen to watch the match, all while kind of flirting with Kayla Braxton during this interview. So back in the ring, Andrade hit his running knees, his Meteora in the corner, covered, but only got a 2 count on Andrade. Out of the pin, he lifted Cruz up for a big move, but Cruz countered with an enziguri. Cruz followed with his moonsault combination out of the press slam in the middle of the ring, which was shocking because I didn't really anticipate that ending the match. Apollo's finisher is the sit-out powerbomb, and he ended him with a press, a moonsault, and a 1-2-3. Like I said, legitimately out of left field. I don't know if that is good for Apollo or what. I guess it's good for Apollo, but how bad is it for Andrade that he lost in that manner? I mean, that's not even the man's finishing move. He lost to pretty much a secondary or a third maneuver in Apollo's artillery, or his arsenal. It's ridiculous. So what does that mean for Andrade? Are they really over Andrade? Is Andrade turning babyface? Is Zelina even going to be with Andrade? Are they setting up that split? Which I hope is not the case. I really hope that's not the case. Maybe they do something with Andrade being paired up with Charlotte. I have no idea. But I need Andrade on television with a mouthpiece. I'm not confident in WWE booking or doing anything with Andrade without him with a proper mouthpiece. Zelina was perfect for that. If that's the case, does Zelina go with Angel Garza? Is she now solely a one-man act? I don't know. But Apollo Crews is the United States champion. Now, what does WWE do here? Are they going to really give Apollo Crews a push? Because I'm surprised we even got to this point. Coming out of that, remember that Aleister Black match that he had on Monday Night Raw that went forever, like 28 minutes, coming out of WrestleMania, right? We didn't even have Black and Lashley go 4 times that amount on WrestleMania night, but he's on Monday Night Raw with Apollo Crews going like 28 minutes. Now, since then, I'm like, well, it's great to see Apollo. Obviously, he knows what he's doing. He's a great performer. It's sad to know that WWE hasn't done anything with him in 5 years, but are they really pushing him? Then we got him in the Money in the Bank. Then they took him out of the Money in the Bank, and that kind of threw everybody for a loop. Are they de-pushing Apollo Crews again with the knee injury? But the knee injury was more for the United States title than it was to take him out of the Money in the Bank ladder match. And the only reason why they took him out of the Money in the Bank ladder match because the Money in the Bank ladder match was too babyface heavy. That's why they put AJ Styles in his place. Because they realized, well, listen, we got 5 babyfaces and 1 heel in this match. Baron Corbin was legitimately the only heel in the Money in the Bank ladder match. So they took Apollo out, gave him the knee injury storyline, gave him the U.S. title chase, and put AJ Styles in his place. Now, we got Apollo as the United States champion, and it makes me wonder if WWE is going to keep this momentum up for him. Given their past experiences, I would say the answer is no. But I can only hope. I don't even really want to hope for WWE because there is no hope in these people doing anything right. What they really should do is use this as a proverbial restart for not only Apollo, but the United States Championship. Apollo is a great talent. He's a great wrestler. He wants an opportunity. He got an opportunity. Why don't you start building him with some momentum, make him a credible champion, make that title feel important, and give this guy some wins? I mean, the title can't look any worse on Apollo than it did on Andrade. It was dead on Andrade. So I'm liking this move. I just don't trust WWE to do the right thing. And I hope this isn't a 2-week, 3-week thing, flavor of the week type deal. Leave this guy as the United States champion, build him up and build up this title, and give him a legitimate reign. I think all will benefit if WWE takes those steps to make Apollo and the United States Championship and his reign feel special. After the match, Cruz was interviewed in the middle of the ring. I love this. The audience was cheering there. He talked about his journey. He talked about the people doubting him and said that he was someone that never gave up. He said it took years of hard work and discipline. It looked like he was going to cry. That he finally won his first WWE title in the company. Cruz says that he always believed in himself and now he could stand in the ring and say he is the new United States champion. Good babyface promo. It did what it needed to do. The emotion was there. Everybody's happy for him. He's one of those guys, the more you suppress, the more we want to see him succeed. It hit all boxes. Checked all those boxes. Apollo is your new United States champion. Backstage, Andrade was shown destroying equipment in anger. Cruz was then shown celebrating in the ring. The announcers congratulated Cruz and hyped up the rest of Monday Night Raw tonight. After the break, Rollins was shown and said it was a night of celebration. So Rollins said it was a night of celebration. He said the reason was because he was better than he's ever been. He thanked Rey Mysterio for helping him with that. Highlights the attack of Rey's eye on the stairs. Then we've seen highlights of that. Rollins spoke and said that he was in a dark place. He said Rey fulfilled his duty and was sacrificed for Rollins. Seth continued and said he couldn't imagine the pain Rey was in when his eye was injured. Rollins says he was sympathetic to Rey's family and said that he wasn't sure of what the future holds for Mysterio. He said that if the act was the final act of his career, it was a courageous one. Rollins said that the act will allow Raw to move into the future, and from there he welcomed Murphy and Austin Theory. They came into shot. Rollins introduced these two and said that, like him, they understand what it means to be underappreciated. He said that under his leadership, their careers will flourish. Murphy then spoke and thanked Rollins for leading him when he needed it most. Theory talked and said that Rollins took him in. Rollins found him when all of his other friends, his so-called friends, abandoned him. Theory then thanked Rollins as well. Rollins acknowledged their thanks and said that they would make examples out of Aleister Black and Humberto Carrillo later tonight on Monday Night Raw. You know, Humberto, for all the new listeners out there, Humberto is the advocate for the ABCs, the alphabet. He was formerly of Sesame Street. His favorite letter is L for loser, because that's all he does on Monday Night Raw, lose. We'll sing the alphabet later when Humberto inevitably takes another loss. Will he remain the king of the L? Letter L on Sesame Street. I could see that. Him popping out of a trash can with Asuka the Grouch, holding up the letter L. Be great. It'd actually make me watch Sesame Street. Anyway, I thought this was fine. The one thing I would change about this, though, is the way that they all speak. Like, I understand Rollins has got to speak in that, I guess, evil tone, in that, I guess, Messiah-like vibe that he's got going on. But why does Buddy Murphy and Austin Theory have to speak in that same tone? They almost don't even sound organic. They don't sound human. Why don't you speak in a normal fucking tone? Yeah, Rollins took me in when all my friends abandoned me. You're speaking like you're reciting a fucking scripted line on a play in front of fourth graders. Give me a break. Make it sound a little bit more realistic. What's with the overproducing of these segments? Something WWE needs to really work on. I love Theory. I think he's the future. Rollins has been hitting a home run with this gimmick. I love it. Even though the similarities are there to Brody Lee, but we love it. And Buddy Murphy, I've always loved Buddy Murphy. I love Buddy Murphy being on 205 Live. I love Buddy Murphy being in NXT. And I hope he gets a proper opportunity. He seems to be getting a proper opportunity, but how long is that opportunity going to last? And how far is that opportunity going to go? We don't know. Now, I don't know what they're going to do with these guys, if they're going to be a staple on Monday Night Raw, if this is the new stable for Seth Rollins. AOP clearly is hurt. Well, one of the members of AOP is hurt. They're not going to be on Monday Night Raw for the foreseeable future, right? So Rollins doesn't have his old buddies anymore. He's got Murphy, but now he's added Theory, because Theory's not with Selena, Andrade, and Garza. They need a name. They need a name, right? So what I would name these guys is, I'm going to throw this one at you. Let me know what you think about this one. Being that this is his second time doing this, and this is his second iteration of this group, I'm going to go out there and name Rollins, Buddy Murphy, and Austin Theory the second coming. The second coming. I love it. The second coming of Christ, right? Rollins is the Messiah. It's great. It's great. And if you use that on WWE in the future, I would like my royalties, please. This was good, overproduced, but I'm enjoying Rollins and what he's doing, and this was a fine promo by the Messiah himself. The Android was interviewed backstage. Charlotte said that she was the most consistent and prolific women's champion in WWE history. No, you weren't. I would have to go and say Asuka. And NXT is included now that they're a third brand on Wednesday night. So when you can actually say you held the title for 900 days and were undefeated, then, honey, you can talk to me, okay? The Android then could be upgraded to the new firmware. She said she raises the bar for everyone in the division. Asuka then danced into the shot and spoke Japanese to Charlotte. Asuka told Charlotte that red was not her color and then walked off. Red is not her color. I don't even think blue, yellow, and black are not even your colors. No colors on the WWE flag look good on Charlotte. You know what flag does look good on Charlotte? The one on the show that doesn't exist. There you go. I said it. Get her off TV. Overexposed. You know, the 3D fucking character of Charlotte popping off the page. That's exactly what it is when you look in the dictionary for the definition of overexposed. The IIconics made their way to the ring. Great. This is enthralling television that we got on Monday night. How many people picked up the remote control to go watch Guys Grocery Games on Food Network? There you go. I know you guys are with me too. Gotta love Triple G, bro. I mean, come on. It's Guy Fieri. It's Mr. Food Network over there. How are you not gonna watch him over the IIconics? Whoever they are. So the IIconics were in the ring. Apparently we are supposed to care about Peyton Royce and Billy Kay breaking up as a team. I mentioned this on Off the Script this past weekend. I'm not even sure I want them to break up. Because double trouble, folks, double trouble. What if per se, we break up the IIconics and they are now both individual singles performers. Then we get a Peyton Royce segment. Then we get a Billie Kay segment. Or worse yet, folks, this is not even the worst of it. That's on the same show. Imagine we get a Billie Kay and Peyton Royce segment on the same show individually instead of just one segment with them together. Imagine we see one on Monday and one on Friday. It's like double dipping, bro. It's like you taking the chip and double dipping. You can't do that, right? You take the chip, you bite it, you double dip again like George Costanza in Seinfeld, right? When he's at the funeral for his girlfriend's mother or father, whoever passed away, right? And he's double dipping and he's yelling at the fucking kid. You know, the kid's blaming him for the double dipping. You can't do that. You can't do that. He's looking for the fucking death certificate because he could save on his airfare. Gotta love Seinfeld, man. It's like you double dipping. It's like you taking a bite and you double dipping. So Kay says she was caught up in the emotions. I got emotions every Monday night, and they're emotions of sadness when I see the IIconics on television. That she didn't want anything to come between them because they are together. They're best friends. They've come so far together. Royce and Kay went down memory lane. I would like to go down memory lane because I was actually a fan of Peyton Royce back in NXT, man. She was a decent performer. I thought Peyton Royce looked great. I said it. I said it. She had individuality. She had a character. She was personable in a good way. And she had one hell of a fisherman suplex. She had one hell of a perfect plex, dude. When have we seen that lately? We haven't. I think Peyton Royce and Billie Kay both got worse on the main roster, and that's just my expert opinion. Now, Royce and Kay went down memory lane and concluded that they should still be the women's tag team champions. No, you shouldn't. The women's tag team champions shouldn't even be the women's tag team champions. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross shouldn't even be the women's tag team champions because the women's tag team champions shouldn't even exist. How could you have championships and no division? Really? You have no teams in this division. What are you going to pair fucking two random women together and then call it a tag team? Is that what we're doing nowadays? That's the level of creativity. That's the level of mediocrity people are accepting in WWE. Burn the titles. They don't mean anything. They don't mean anything. This squeezy toy of Buffalo Wild Wings in a foamy beer is worth more than the women's tag team championships in WWE. Are you serious? So that's been my take on the women's tag team championships, man. Too many titles. The titles don't mean anything. How could you be proud to hold women's tag team championships when the titles don't mean anything? So Royce and Kay went down memory lane. Blah, 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 blah. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross walk out to the ramp. Bliss spoke something. She walked into, I wasn't even paying attention, to be quite honest with you. She said that they had every opportunity in the world, but they blew it. And that was the extent of her promo ability. As always, Alexa Bliss doing very little in the ring. She then gives way to Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross cut the promo of her career tonight on Monday night. This was awesome. Now, some of you did not know what she was saying, but Nikki Cross walked out and she was in the ring. She had this opportunity with the microphone that she really never had before. She said she had, listened to what Peyton Royce and Billie Kay were talking. Cross, for the most part, was ignoring them, and Cross was looking at Royce. Royce told her to stop. There was bickering back and forth. Royce told her to stop and stand there, look grateful. Cross ignored them and spoke about her journey to the WWE as Bliss looked on. So from there, Cross talked about what Alexa Bliss did for her. She said that she and Bliss are tag team champions because Alexa helps balance her out. She said that she has taught Bliss something about friendship as well. Cross finished by saying that was truly iconic, as she said that Royce and Kay attacked and this brawl was on. So after this, all of this Nikki Cross promo, there was a big brawl. The IIconics got the upper hand, destroyed the women's tag team champions. I believe Alexa got thrown into the steel post, and then they rolled out of the ring, grabbed the titles, and held the titles over their head and posed as the segment went off the air. Par for the course, folks. Nothing to see here. Very bland, unimportant, irrelevant. Nobody gives a shit about the women's tag team championships. They're one of the worst aspects of WWE television. Nikki Cross, though, 2 thumbs up on the promo. That was awesome. And I want to see more of that Nikki Cross on WWE television and not the blind follower, the sheep following behind Miss Bliss. After the segment was over, MVP and McIntyre had a VIP lounge. So before that, MVP was shown backstage. He was approached by Lana. He asked Lana if he could help her, but Lana didn't say anything. Finally, Lana told them that they needed to talk. In response, MVP says that they didn't, and he walked off. This is the type of role I like MVP in. I don't like MVP in the ring. I like MVP here, what he's doing. Because MVP can come off like a dick, and I love it. So this was awesome. So, hour 2, we got the VIP lounge, and this was with Drew McIntyre. He thanked the NXT stars around him, did MVP. He said their bar tab was on him. Bro, I'll take Guinness flowing all night, please. You guys know me. From there, he welcomed Drew McIntyre to the ring. Drew's music hit. He got cheered by the NXT faithful. McIntyre confidently walked out and interacted with the crowd. Once Drew got into the ring, he destroyed the VIP lounge. He threw some chairs. He threw some desks or whatever table was there. All the furniture was destroyed. So Drew asked MVP, where is he? Where is he? In response to that, MVP said, who are you talking about? Drew told MVP that he knew who he was talking about, and MVP says that there wouldn't be an ambush. He said that Lashley would save it for Backlash. He said MVP talked about Drew's last appearance in the MVP lounge. MVP said that he tried to be a friend to him and help him, and that Drew threw that back in his face with a Claymore kick. MVP continued and said that the two had thoughts, or he had two thoughts after that kick. Number one, Drew would become the WWE champion, and two, when he loses it, he would play a role in that outcome. So MVP is now Nostradamus, apparently. From there, MVP said it took Lashley 13 years to get a title shot. He said now that he had that opportunity, it's going to happen, and it's because of him. Drew then spoke and said it took him 19 years to get his shot at the title, and he did it in the main event of WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar. Drew then said that it doesn't need anyone, or he doesn't need anyone, thinking of him, talking for him, or kissing his ass. He continued and said that the only way Lashley would take the title from him would to pry it from his cold, dead hands. In response, MVP said, listen, I could actually arrange that. At that point, Bobby Lashley walked out. MVP made his introduction, and then MVP was Claymore kicked, and he was knocked out. Lashley looked on from the outside, dragged MVP out of the ring, and then Drew stared both of them down. McIntyre and Lashley were showing some nice intensity here. McIntyre here, but Lashley more so towards the end of the actual show. This was fine. This was fine. More run-of-the-mill, par-for-the-course stuff here on Monday Night Raw. I'm still not sold on Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre, and I'm going to reiterate it quickly here again. I'm not sold, no matter how intense it could be, no matter how good of a match that they produce, I'm not sold on it because WWE needs to do one thing and one thing only going into their match at Backlash. Bobby Lashley needs to look like a legit monster. Bobby Lashley, if you want to at least salvage some of what happened with Bobby Lashley needs to go into that match and come out by beating the shit out of Drew McIntyre, by coming this close to winning the WWE Championship, and Drew McIntyre retaining, obviously, because that's the only right outcome here. But he needs to look like a legit MMA killer. That's what he needs to do. He needs to go in there and bring Drew McIntyre to the biggest fucking hardest fought match of his entire life. And at least at that point, you'll salvage some of Bobby Lashley. That's it. Because we know Bobby Lashley's not going to win, so you got to, in exchange, you got to make him look good. Because what's the fucking point if you don't make him look good? Where does he go from here in a new stable with MVP? WWE fucked up Bobby Lashley. I am not a fan of Bobby Lashley. In fact, I was never a fan of Bobby Lashley, then, now, or forever. Never going to be a fan of Bobby Lashley. Is he a tough son of a bitch? Absolutely. Does he look the part? Absolutely. Has WWE misused him? Absolutely. I mean, they fucking put him with Lana, of all people, in a fake wedding, with Rusev popping out of the cake, with a lesbian angle that was never finished. Need I say more? So they need to do right by him, because they fucked him over for 3.5 years. The simple fact that WWE has fucked him over for 3.5 years, it is very difficult for me to buy into anything Bobby Lashley's doing for this 1 month build for this pay-per-view. I can't get behind it. And I'm sure you guys feel the same way as well. But they can do at least a little bit of salvaging. Make him look good. Let him bring Drew to the brink of defeat. And you need to start planning now. What do you do with Bobby Lashley after this? Because he may look good here, and then after this is over, What is he going to do? Who are you going to put him with? What is his role going to be? What is their role going to be as wrestler and advocate? I don't know. You better figure something out. Otherwise, he's going to go right back into irrelevancy on Monday night. That's my take on Bobby Lashley. Natalya, she was interviewed backstage. She seems to be going through this storyline where she is, I don't want to say bratty, but I don't know exactly what it is. She's coming off as bratty Natty, right? Natty was interviewed backstage after the question came in from Charlie. Whatever she was being asked, I don't even remember what it was. Natty stopped the interview and took a phone call from her husband, TJ. She told TJ that she did all she could and apologized. I'm assuming it's for Kevin Owens and how she acted. She said she had to go, and when she went back to the interview, Charlie said, listen, our time is up. You opted to take a phone call. Our interview time is over. Whatever allotted time you were given is over. So Kevin Owens made his way down to the ring, and while this was happening, nice segue here, Natty was the one who destroyed the Kevin Owens show last week. Natty promo right to a Kevin Owens match. She's pissed that there's no interview. Kevin Owens was attacked by Angel Garza on the ramp. He attacked the knee. I love it. This is awesome. When a situation occurs like what Garza did to Kevin Owens, it always works out. I love it. And it's a nice little reset, even though I've stated several times that whatever they did with Theory and Garza, they buried these guys. They made them look like chumps. They made them look like losers. But this was a nice reset. And Garza attacked the knee. And then Garza won clean because Kevin Owens couldn't operate on one knee. Owens tried for his pop-up powerbomb. Leg gave out. This allowed Garza to hit the wing clipper on Owens and wins the match in relatively quick fashion. Clean fashion. Awesome. I was shocked. Garza got a win clean. Now, some of you might not say it's clean, but, I mean, he did what a heel normally should do. Take out the babyface before the match. Garza showed himself to be a good... He's been a good heel. WWE hasn't done anything with him. He's a great heel, great wrestler, great character. He's got it. It's the future of the company. One of the future pieces of this company. Tacked the knee, won clean, and did a great job as a heel on Monday night. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Sucks to know that Kevin Owens came back in his first match back since WrestleMania and lost. So I hope Kevin Owens gets his just due, because I think he deserves it. But that's just me. Owens is being protected as well in this case, by the way. Owens is being protected as well because obviously he didn't lose clean. He didn't lose, without an issue. There was a knee issue. He got attacked before the match. Clearly it was an unfair advantage. Garza broke the code. So in turn, that makes Kevin Owens a little protected than normal because he lost on a bum knee. So it looks good for both of these guys. I'm interested to see where it goes. So we got the Viking Raiders, the Viking Experience, Globetrotters, Phil Mickelson Raiders, and the Street Profits. They were playing golf. They were shown playing golf on the golf course. The Viking Raiders showed up in a golf cart. They had a cooler, a water cooler, which would consume cold beverages if it was me. But in this water cooler, there were turkey legs by Mr. Ivar. So the Viking Raiders proved to be bad at golf and caused a lot of destruction on the golf course. They were missing swings, and they were going into the bunker, and they were going into the fucking water hazard. They were making ditches in the green, right? Nobody could do anything over here. So then they moved things to the mini golf course, and there the Street Profits won with a score of 28, and I believe the Viking Raiders had a score of 144, or something like that. So the Viking Raiders obviously thought that they had the most points that they won, but in golf, the team with the lesser points wins. So the Viking Raiders lost. It was something that I actually enjoyed more than the last 2 weeks, because I'm kind of a sucker for golf and mini golf at that. So I actually enjoyed this for what it was, but man, the tag team division is dead on Monday nights. It is dead. It is like Humberto's main roster run, dead. We need some life in the tag team division, but who the fuck am I? Tag team division on Monday night? What are you talking about, bro? That's something that doesn't exist. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for asking for something so simple there, Vince. The Monday Night Raw Tag Team division means nothing. I don't believe how these people don't realize that you're burying the value of the tag team division. They had no value to begin with, but you're burying the value of the tag team division. Hope you enjoy your decision there, bro. Because it's not making the Street Profits look good. It's not making the Viking Raiders look good. So if the Viking Raiders win these titles, what do they actually get? Nothing. They get a pair of titles that mean nothing. If the Street Profits retain the titles, what do they actually keep? Titles that mean nothing. They need competition in the division for the titles to mean something, for their reign to mean something. But I'm speaking a foreign language to most of the people who think I complain. So I can't win. It's a lose-lose situation. Theory and Murphy with Seth Rollins versus Humberto Carrillo. I will sing the alphabet, but or I would sing the alphabet, but I don't want to ruffle any more feathers than I already did probably on this show. And Aleister Black, Theory and Murphy win via pinfall. This was decent for what it was, but at first glance, I'm like, this match doesn't make any sense. Because how could Austin Theory and Buddy Murphy be in this match with Rollins against Humberto and Aleister Black when Humberto, God fucking Christ, he needs a win more than anybody. He needs a win more than anybody. Aleister Black has been one of the few guys on this roster that's got momentum. He can't lose. Austin Theory can't lose. He just joined Seth Rollins last week, right? So who's going to win this thing? At first glance, I thought this was WWE booking themselves into a corner. This is reckless booking, is what I call it. And then they shocked me. Well, not really shocked me, but they actually gave the win to the right team and then pinned the only guy that obviously is taking pins on this show in every match that he's in, Humberto. If Humberto's on the show, folks, you already know it's a loss. If he somehow miraculously accumulates a win, then it's like winning a fucking lottery ticket. It's like winning Powerball for Humberto. But Aleister Black and Humberto lost here. Theory and Murphy win via pinfall. Theory hit the ATL, and that was it. That was it. After the match was the main story here. Theory and Murphy attacked Black and Humberto. As they did, Rollins got on the microphone and yelled that Humberto needed to learn. He needs to learn how to win. That's what he needs to fucking... And your Monday Night Raw and SmackDown creative need to learn how to write a good show. Weekly, consistently. There's a lot of things we could learn here, Rollins. Humberto needs to learn how to win, for sure. Theory and Murphy set Humberto up for the same move on the steps that they did to Rey Mysterio's eye. Black tried to attack with a chair, but Rollins said that Carrillo would lose an eye if he came a step further. Rollins asked Black to not make him sacrifice Carrillo like he was forced to sacrifice Rey Mysterio. Then Rollins dropped the mic and walked up the ramp with his boys. But the match was the post-match stuff with Rollins was great. He came off great. His promo was great. He came off threatening and serious. He came off legit. That was one of the very few times in recent memory that Rollins spoke and his words held value. There was validity behind Seth Rollins' words. And I have not said that. As a podcaster here in the community, I have not said that at all as of late. I thought he did a great job. More of that, please. Edge was shown backstage. Edge was sitting in the back, and I'm glad that they went back to this very personal, dark, just by himself promo in the back. No crowd, no interactions between the NXT talent outside. Edge spoke and directed his attention to Randy Orton. He said Randy caught him flat-footed. Edge said Orton laid the bait, and he bit. Edge said that he now finds himself doubting his ability. He said that he wondered whether or not he could hang because he was retired over 3,000 days. Edge says that during that time, Orton competed in 1,026 matches. He says, I looked it up and did research. Must have a lot of time on your hands there, man. From there, Edge says he needed to prove himself to himself. Edge then thanked Orton because he forced him to contemplate things that he kept buried. Edge continued and talked about figuring out when it was time to hang up the boots. Edge said, Dead man, I get it, addressing The Undertaker and his documentary. Before addressing Orton, he says that he kept pace with Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, and more. He said he pulled people up to his level and that he taught guys how to get to that next level. Edge says he was a 5-tool workhorse for the company. He continued more and told Orton that everything he said was in the past tense because he doesn't know if he can do those things anymore. At Backlash, which it really will be, because they will not live up to this greatest match ever shit, Edge promised to dig to the depths of his soul to try. He said that was all a man could do. Try and do what? You can try, like the little engine that could, Mr. Edge. It's not going to end up being the greatest match ever. Now, listen, I love Edge. He's one of my favorites ever in the business. Him doing this promo is like me saying Guinness is a good beer. We all know that. Edge cut an excellent promo. Edge and Randy Orton cut excellent promos leading to the match at WrestleMania and ended up being one of the worst WrestleMania matches of all time. Maybe one of the worst matches of all time. So I don't really gauge these promos on how good the match is going to be. Not getting myself into a situation where I'm hyping myself up because the promos were great, only to be disappointed in the end. I'm not falling for your shit twice, WWE. Now, if this shit was gauged on promos alone, then maybe we can start talking about greatest of all time or greatest match of all time. If these promos were gauged on what they're trying to promote here, then maybe we could talk and have a discussion. But I'm not getting myself excited about an Edge promo when we all know the man is a master of the microphone. We all know that Edge can cut a great promo. We all know that Randy Orton can cut a promo. Can they have the greatest match of all time or the greatest wrestling match ever? The answer is no. The answer is no. Edge promised to dig to the depths of his soul to try. You can try. I'm going to watch you. I'm going to cheer you on. I love you. But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. How could you actually go out there and admit this is good booking or good promotion for what they're doing here? It's either a troll by WWE, a troll by Edge and Randy Orton, or a mixture of both, based off the fact that everybody shit on their first match and now they want to make a mockery of it to the fans watching. You hated it? Now we're going to fucking throw it back in your face because we are WWE and we can do that, but you're going to watch anyway. Give me a break. Fucking pathetic way to book this shit. It's going to fail miserably. Backlash, perfectly named for this shit. There'll be backlash everywhere on Sunday night going into Monday when they fail to live up to expectations, because that's exactly what you're setting them up to do. Fail. Now, I want to sit here and talk about Edge failing after 9 years. I want to sit here and talk about Randy Orton failing. He's one of the best ever. Come on, man. This is fucking terrible. I don't even think WWE realizes how much danger they're putting these two guys in. It's fucking awful. I love Edge, though. This was great. But I'm not getting myself excited over mere words that we know these guys can cut beautifully for a match that I know is not going to deliver on any of those expectations. Hour 3, we got Charlotte Flair, Natalya, Nia Jax. Not even going to go over it. Not even going to go over it because we got Nia Jax winning and becoming the number one contender. Good match, sloppy at times. Don't really care for Charlotte on Monday night. We'll see her on Wednesday. We'll see her on Friday. Whatever. You guys know how I feel. Charlotte should not even have been in this match. Natty should have not been in this match. The only outcome here was Nia Jax winning the match. She's not going to beat Asuka. She's not. She's a nice hors d'oeuvre for Asuka before Asuka goes on to bigger and better things. The main course, which is going to be Shayna Baszler at SummerSlam. That's my prediction there. But they did a good job here. They took out Nia Jax early on. They powerbombed her through a table. Charlotte took control of the match on Jax later on. She hit a top rope moonsault, which looked fucking awful. Charlotte needs to remove the moonsault from her arsenal. Seriously. Please, replace it with... And you can't do it on Nia Jax. I don't even know how she could. Maybe she could. Maybe she could defy logic. You know? Maybe she should go up there and just do something different instead of the moonsault. I'd love to see Charlotte Flair do a Spanish fly. She has a beautiful Spanish fly. Whether it was on Nia Jax, whether it was on Asuka, she could do a beautiful Spanish fly. Remove the moonsault. It makes everything she does look like a joke. The greatest, or it makes everything that WWE says about her a joke. The greatest athlete in WWE women's history. Just she can't do a proper moonsault? Give me a break. Every single time, it looks worse and worse and worse. She hit the top rope moonsault. All knees. It's all knees. Out of the pin. Charlotte stomped Jax. But then she was... then she got hit by a crossbody off the top by Natty. Natty covered Charlotte. Only got a 2 count. Right up until the pin. Jax got up to her feet. Clothesline both Natty and Charlotte. Fast forwarding a little bit here. We got Natty putting Charlotte in the sharpshooter. Charlotte was... writhing in pain, but the hold was broken by Nia Jax, who rushed Natty with a strike. Jax then lifted Natty for the Samoan drop, but Charlotte broke it up with a boot to the face. And after that, Charlotte then tried for a cover, only to get a 2 counts. At the end of this thing, we got Natty trying to cover Jax and Charlotte. Only got 2 counts on both. And it was a melee at the end. Jax was able to hit a Samoan drop on Natty with Charlotte on the outside of the ring. She was too late to get to the breakup of the cover. And that was it. Jax won with a leg drop, made the cover on Natty. 1, 2, 3. She wins, and she's the number 1 contender. Again, par for the course. It was the right creative decision. Nia Jax and Asuka will be your women's championship match at Backlash, and it's honestly just going to be an hors d'oeuvre for Asuka before she gets Shayna Baszler at SummerSlam, which is the one match I'm looking forward to in the women's division. R-Truth and Rob Gronkowski cut promos on each other over the 24/7 championship. I don't even know why the 24/7 title still exists. It's fucking terrible. Get it off TV. Rob Gronkowski does not belong on TV. He didn't cut that bad of a promo, but it looked like he was reading off a cue card, which kind of took, I guess, all the appeal away from what he wanted to say. I'm looking at his eyes, and his eyes are looking over there. He's not looking at the camera. Get the 24/7 title off of television. It's fucking worthless. Nobody asked for it to return. Ric Flair, he was advertised on this show. He was shown via Skype. He talked about wrestling the best of the best for decades. Flair then talked about what he thought of the outcome and what the outcome would be between Edge and Randy Orton. He called Randy Orton the greatest in-ring performer right now and said that Orton would beat Edge at Backlash. That's Ric Flair's opinion, and his opinion only. If I am to sit here and say what I think of that, I do not agree. I do not agree. I don't even think he's the greatest wrestler. I don't even think he's the best wrestler on Raw. I mean, give me a break. Orton's great, but I never looked at Orton as a great pro wrestler. I looked at Orton as a great heel and a decent wrestler. Orton really hasn't had that much of a back catalog as of late for me to go back and say, you know what, Randy Orton's been doing some great work. He's been doing fucking phenomenal work on the microphone. In the ring, that's a different story. So we got Liv Morgan. She cut a promo, talked about herself. She's talking about being lost. I'm lost every time I watch SmackDown on Friday. But finding herself once she got wrestling and WWE into her life. Morgan said she was alive and that she would fulfill her destiny. She then said she was living her best life. I don't know where they're going with this, but Liv Morgan and her character, it seems to be going through drastic changes, which I don't think anybody knows. WWE had something cooking with Liv Morgan, and now they put her on the back burner and apparently are restarting with her all over again. They take her off TV. They bring her back after a long extended period of time off. They bring her back as a lesbian angle with Lana, and then they axe that storyline. Then she wins a couple of matches. She looks good. She tightened up in the ring. She was doing some good shit. She got some wins, and then she was fed to Charlotte, and now she's being reset again. Same thing happened when she lost to Charlotte the first time, in the first iteration of Liv Morgan. She said, I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you the real me. Then she came back as the Liv Morgan we see now, and now she lost to Charlotte again, and now we don't know where they're going with her gimmick again. I don't even think WWE knows what's going on. Main event, Bobby Lashley and MVP versus the Street Profits in the main event. MVP in the main event of a Monday Night Raw in 2020. That's my first problem. Number 2, the Street Profits losing. Well, I guess it's a no contest. I guess it was a no. I think it was a no contest. But, I mean, I hope to God that wasn't a loss. But I think they disqualified Lashley for disobeying the rules. So I'm glad that WWE had the logic here, because Lashley had the clutch that he's been doing, that little fucking, I guess, full Nelson shit he was doing on Montez Ford. Referee stopped the match because he obviously didn't adhere to the 5 count. So I'm glad that they did that. I was worried that they were going to make the Street Profits lose here, because they obviously need to build up Lashley and MVP, being that they're going into Backlash as the challengers for the WWE title. After the match is where this thing really amped up. Lashley continued to beat the Street Profits until Drew McIntyre made the save. McIntyre walked down and fought Lashley. The brawl was on, continued until members of the NXT audience came into the ring, rolled into the ring, and tried to break it up. They tried, but Lashley and Drew battled them off. Finally, the NXT members were able to slow the fight down. The show ended after that. The intensity was there. The struggle between Lashley and McIntyre was there, it made for a good recipe. You know, it made me want to see more of what these guys got going on. And I'm going to say this, and I have not said this in a very long, I don't think I've said this ever about Bobby Lashley. For the first time in 3 years, Bobby Lashley actually looks more legit now than any other time in his second WWE run. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It could be a good thing if WWE accepts it. Or it could be a bad thing. He can go into Backlash and then WWE will bring him right back to where he was. I hope that's not the case, because the more guys we got built up on this roster, the better the show will be. Lashley should have always been a guy that looked legit. He has not. He has not, in any sense of the word. And again, even though this segment was decent and the intensity was there, I find it very difficult to believe Bobby Lashley as a top contender for the title when he's been buried for 3 years on Monday Night Raw. And don't tell me he was an Intercontinental Champion, he feuded with Finn Balor, he did this, he did that. He did nothing. He did nothing. Now, the one memorable thing on Monday Night Raw is fucking his sisters with Sami Zayn. That was it. That's the one thing I remember from Bobby Lashley's run on the main roster. Is that what you want his run to end up looking like? This is why I don't believe in Bobby Lashley as a legit, true threat to the WWE title. They need to do something. Where do they go from here? How are they going to make him look on June 14th? Who are they going to give him next? We don't know. Only time will tell, folks. Only time will tell. I'm getting out of here, man. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Hope you enjoyed the takes that you heard here. Let me know what you think down below. Hit that thumbs up. Would really appreciate it. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That is on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. And if you guys want to check out all the other videos that you might have missed on the channel, links are down below in the description of this very video. Until then, guys, I will be back on Wednesday for your coverage post-show of Double or Nothing on AEW Dynamite this coming Wednesday. Hope you guys had a great Memorial Day. Hope you guys have a great week. And I'll see you guys right back here on Wednesday for the coverage of AEW Dynamite on TNT. See you guys later.